Hey Cancer, let's take a look at this soul story for you for the month of August. So as I was connecting into your energy, the note that came through was, now that you know, what are you going to do with it? And Leo season illuminates your second house of value. And so I think the way that you are approaching this month is with that deeper sense of understanding that you need to manifest and draw towards you those things now that really support the continuing involvement of this deeper sense of self, you know, the spiritual evolution, this knowing that there is better for you, that you are becoming better, and it has to be reflected and start to show up. You know, you've been on such an incredible journey. We've just come through your solar returns, and that charge has given you that sense of renewal about what is possible. And now into Leo season, there's a tremendous amount of heart energy, of this kind of raw instinct in terms of understanding where you need to apply that sense of purpose now. You know, the North Node in your sign was really helping you to figure out the highest expression of your energy, and to be directed and put on, you know, the right soul path for you. And so we open up your reading with the Three of Cups, and there is a moment of celebration to be had here, because I think in understanding that you know what you now know, there's such a conscious awakening to that. That's going to feel really quite beautiful if you allow it to take seed, you know. And even if what you know isn't necessarily like delivering all of the bounty yet, it's like the blueprint is starting to form. And we have this kind of rather urgent sense of wanting to get things done, wanting to get moving. And yet the Three of Cups is still coming in and saying, okay, there's plenty of flow here. You know, all of this water's moving, but quite gently. The figures here are dancing, and they're in a place of stillness and peace. The moon is illuminating, asking you, inviting you to trust deeper into your intuitive senses, saying that, you know, not everything has to get done straight away. In fact, if we think about the way that a lion uses his energy in Leo season, you know, there's so much rest time with the family, time to connect, to bond, to come together. And then when necessary, it applies itself to the hunt in a very direct, precise way. And so I think there's something about that theme coming through for you as well. It's the way in which you are going to be using your energy so that you don't forget about the things that are really important to you, the things from the heart. And actually on the 7th, we've got Venus moving into the sign of Cancer. So that's really going to be beneficial for you as it helps to restore and remind you of the ways in which you want to connect to the things that you're passionate about. And you know, Mars and Aries and Leo season are absolutely going to be bringing all of those desires to the surface. Now there is a fair bit of volatility playing itself out through this season, and so you might be finding that there's a little bit of that kind of provocation or challenge energy that might be coming your way. But I don't really see it derailing you, Cancer, because I think you're too busy. Your eyes are on the prize somewhere else. You're reaching for something here, you know, and you're understanding more so than ever before how to balance your energy, you know. The idea of Mars helps us to know what to do with our energy, and it can create or it can destroy. Now on the 3rd and 4th, we've got a full moon in the sign of Aquarius, which activates your 8th house of transformation. And what's happening here is that there is a destruction of the old ego boundaries that have been in place in your life as you open up to a much deeper spiritual understanding of who you are and what you still have to learn and how you want to show up with that. And so even where there is destruction, it feels very positive and healthy. That Page of Pentacles is wanting you to return to the student almost in some aspect. Now that might play out in lots of different areas of your life. If it is coming in on a relationship level for you, it's reminding you to return to a time when you recognize what was important. You bring in some times for fun, for some celebration, for some lightness of that energy. And that you remain curious and open, but that you also apply yourself. You know, it's almost like needing to apply yourself to the idea of fun in the same way that you would apply yourself, you know, to the idea of wanting to get work done, you know. And if you can kind of take that as your mantra, is just that, you know, I'm going to consistently show up, you know, to all of the the type of energy that I want to draw in this month from a place of really knowing my own value, then you're going to start to manifest in things that are going to feel so much sweeter than they ever have before, because literally you have the world at your fingertips. You know, the universe is the card of the world here. So you're looking beyond what is right now, and you're seeing this huge galaxy of opportunities that's being presented to you. Okay, perhaps knowing that you don't necessarily want to do it fully alone, and that there is help and support available to you, or you're going to start to connect into that soul family, to that kind of sisterhood for some of you, or just those people that are going to be very, supportive and understanding of what it is that you're trying to achieve. I think from a relationship perspective, again, it's showing you the limitless possibility in something or somewhere. But remember this aspect of create or destroy. For some of you, you might be getting very clear-minded on what now has to go. Because if you now know what you know, there is no going back. So how can you possibly return into, any situation that is unhealthy or toxic or not for your highest good? It's going to feel uncomfortable. There is a very revelationary and rebellious energy that is playing out through this season. And it's wanting to bring in balance for you. That full moon is squaring Uranus. Uranus right now is going retrograde on the 15th in the sign of Taurus through your 11th house. So looking at the wider collective through your friendship. So you may have some rebalancing or some shifts or change that are taking place in that aspect of your life through this season, Cancer. But we're also just being invited to see the way in which we are allowing that kind of sense of divine order to come into play here. Now, some of you may be looking at signing contracts. You may be looking at, kind of making things more formal in one area or another. So you might have been having, a business or a job that you were kind of playing at. It was sort of moonlighting, or it was like a second hobby. And all of a sudden now there's the opportunity to take it to a whole new level that's going to require a little bit more of a solid foundation to be underpinning it. From a relationship perspective, you might now be looking to make something more formal, to want to commit to something, absolutely based on understanding what it is that you're looking for from that relationship. And I think that's the kind of awareness to be mindful of, Cancer. Anything that isn't on the same page as you ultimately is going to take you in the wrong direction, and I think it's going to feel so uncomfortable. So you need to be incredibly transparent with your thoughts and what it is that you're looking for, and be able to communicate that. Now, I see you being able to do that. Mercury moves into Leo on the 5th, and that expression is going to come from a very heartfelt place. And actually, as we move into Virgo season, you're into your 3rd house, really illuminating the way that you think and helping you to get your ideas across in a very detailed way, so the articulation of what you have to say is also going to land really well, which is going to be beneficial for those looking at a career in business and anything you're trying to initiate, launch, or work with through this season as well. The energy exchange is important though, Justice and 6 of Pentacles, things perhaps coming in your favor from a legal perspective, and outside help I feel coming in. But you also very aware of where there's been situations that have felt like too little too late, or not enough. It's just no longer enough, So you're readdressing the balance of that because you're reaching for more. You want more. Quite right. You've got the whole world at your fingertips. Why would you not? So from an abundance perspective, money is starting to be activated in your energy field. You're so focused on it with that 2nd house, material possessions, knowing your worth. And there's shifts and changes that are taking place there that have really resulted because of what you've been through. Nobody else really could have taught you this stuff. Don't get me wrong. Of course you can be inspired and draw wisdom from mentors and gurus and teachers, but ultimately this has been based on hard experience, life experience. That's what's got you to this point. And I think there's this quality of you wanting to kind of readdress the order in your world and share that, take that out and be of service and kind of demonstrate and show by example. This is how you change your life. This is how you take the negatives and transmute them into something more. This is how you take a tiny seed and you let it come into something that's going to blossom beautifully. This is how you make constant adjustments and you allow a sense of divine timing to be allowed to flow. The card of Temperance is bringing the the energy of time to work on your side, you know? Again, it's bringing in balance though. You can see she's holding these 2 cups. We've got the scales, you know, we've got the balance of the 6 of coins coming in here. I really love this energy for you to work through August. It's going to be an antidote to the, at times, you know, very angry energy that could spill up in volcano-like moments. Now, pay close attention to both the 13th, where Mars squares Pluto, and the 24th, where Mars is squaring Saturn. There are plenty of beautiful aspects coming up this month to work with, so don't worry about that. But these are just a couple to just be mindful of, because people, you know, they may well be trying to challenge you, you know? They may well want to provoke your apparent kind of I've got it together, or this is what I'm looking for, or, you know, this is what I now need. But I don't really see that stopping you. There's a beautiful sense of flow that I have coming in here. And I think you've got enough people on your side. You've got enough support around you to give you the space that you need to keep going. You know, so even if you do come up against that, sometimes we need that contrast, because it helps us fight that little bit harder, or communicate that little bit clearer, or just recognize perhaps where we still have some wounds that might need healing, because we've been incredibly triggered by a, you know, a certain person or situation or something that someone said, especially if it's coming in any way to hit what you value about yourself, or what you think your value is to the world. You know, that's where you're really going to feel it being activated and worked on, as we have that second house energy through Leo season. So 7 of Pentacles coming in here. It's really a deep time of assessment. Now that you know, what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to apply it? That's what's coming through. New opportunities set to come in. Not everything being realized right now. So understand that a lot of the work you're going to be putting in place, that Page of Coins wants you to be consistent, to keep showing up, to keep investing in those areas. It's going to come in little by little. Yeah, little by little. But then there will be a moment where there'll be more of a surge and more of a significant gain. So apply that to the situation that it's most meaningful to you, Cancer. Little by little, and then as you keep consistently showing up and maintaining that balanced, centered approach, then there will be a time of significant gain where you need it to be. Okay? I really like this grounded earth energy coming in to support you a little bit through all of this fire that we're going to be working with in the beginning part of the month. But as we come into Virgo season, I have a sense of that's where you're going to start to identify perhaps where some of those gains might be making their way towards you. And, you know, particularly from a relationship perspective, it's that recognition that, you know, you don't get to have a beautiful, peaceful, deeply loving, respectful, mature, conscious relationship without putting the work in. And sometimes that requires that shadow understanding, you know, working with those parts of ourselves that we have to own. Accountability is a love language in itself. This is about, you know, you learning to meet your own needs and then coming into that connection with a whole different outlook and understanding of what it might be like to walk in that person's shoes. You know, not necessarily to, you know, have forgiveness or give permission or anything like that. It's just about the awareness. If we're going to move towards a unity consciousness, we have to understand and be aware of where everyone is coming from. And then it almost in some ways helps you to be clearer about what you feel and what you believe. And then knowing what you then know, you can make a decision as to say, okay, is this still right for me? And something to work on. Is there something tangible and real to work on here? I think there's going to be for many of you. Or do I make a decision to, you know, make an adjustment and allow something to move out of my life? Because actually, if I want to prioritize a time for joy, for more abundance, for more celebration of everything that's beautiful about life and what it has to offer, then that has to begin with me and the choices and decisions that I'm going to be making. Yeah, so that shadow work, really important. Again, a nod to that 8th house energy of the full moon in Aquarius. But remember, Aquarius is all about giving us new ideas and innovation and talking to us about the future. You know, giving us a glimpse of our future selves. And even though we might have to go a little bit deep, you know, into the abyss and the vastness to find it and even reactivate some old wound energy, it is incredibly clarifying for you. It's incredibly clarifying. And in some ways, you know, I've got Temperance kind of almost like holding the cups of healing here that's just dropping down into that Three of Swords energy anyway. So regardless of what this represents, and you know, yes, it can be heart pain, it can really be sore and tender. But remember, you've got the world at your fingertips here, and this is also bringing in a point of completion and an ending to something. You know, there's almost a divine karmic order that's at play here. We almost have to get out of the way of it, Cancer. That's what I'm seeing for you. You have to get out of the way of something. You tend and cultivate and nurture what's going on within you, okay? That's where the gift is. You know, she's holding the light as a gift. This gift of harvest, of gain, of, you know, the reassessment of something to gain something even better, become even more, is absolutely available to you. And sometimes that means that we have to focus and acknowledge and take ownership of something. But there's so much vibrancy and bounty and kind of unconditional love that's coming through to support you on this journey. I think it's really beautiful. Let's take a look and see how these animal cards are going to support your main reading here. Okay, we have the eagle spirit. Spirit has your back. How beautiful. You know, the eagle is such a majestic animal, very linked into, you know, the America energy right now as well. So I think for my American friends watching this, I just want to say it's almost like extra support, extra divine energy coming in to help you to navigate through a lot of that volatile energy that is playing out. And just the recognition that you need to move through this month knowing that you are deeply supported in that way, you know? And the more confident you are with that, the more you're able to step out and be transparent with what it is that you're looking for and how you feel you can make a difference. So this is not a time to water things down, it's a time to amp up and really not to spend so much time observing all of the things that are not right or not working or spend too long in that wound energy, but to work and transmute it into something more. And when I look at the Three of Swords, there's one sword particularly that's kind of coming right through the heart. So I feel that this one is almost, there's one thing, there's one aspect that you're being asked to focus on more than anything else, that I feel could be really needing a little bit of time and energy and attention. That Venus in Cancer, just be very protective, self-soothe, self-administer the healing where you need, because there's so much work and advancement to make that you don't want to end up kind of not dealing with something and suppressing it, and then just having it spill up, you know, with some kind of outburst that, you know, is just triggered in a way that isn't going to be that helpful for you, yeah? Okay, so you've got the card of the Mountain coming through. Again, a number 6 linking into the Six of Pentacles here. And I feel that actually, you know, what is represented through the door, and, you know, the moon is illuminating the mountain, and instead of feeling like we have to scale it, okay, it almost feels like there is a way through it, okay? But he has his mouth open here as well. So for me, there's something about expression, something about your self-expression, the way you're going to say something, what you need to say, that's going to help you to overcome a challenge, overcome a hurdle. And actually on the top of this mountain, it looks like there's a palace or a fortress or something here. So I think you're protecting something. You know, there's a need to protect something. It may be your work, it may be your family, it may be your relationship, it may be the work that you've done on yourself. So where you do feel challenged, understand that you're being given the fortitude, and the magnitude of the energy of this mountain is very grounded, very tangible, it's very real. This is something you can trust on. You know, this is not for me representative of you having to climb another mountain, even though some of you may feel that way. It's more about the presence you need to activate, the gravitas you need to take on in a particular situation so you can express and say what you need to. And that full moon coming in to remind you that whatever it is, and the way that you can deal with it and the words that should be spoken will come from your higher self. You know, they'll come from within you, not from being scripted or told what to do or what to say. That's not where your strength is. You know, this is the strength based on life experience and the wisdom that you've acclaimed, you know, in that time. Okay, let's have a look at this astrology card. Oh, lovely card of Cancer, I feel. And you're feeling and sensing and intuiting your way through this season to understand the way that you need to show up, where you need to place yourself, and who you want to be a part of that inner circle. You know, that Three of Cups for me is really about you establishing connections that are so supportive, surrounding yourself with the best of people's energies so that you can tap into the best of yourself, you know. But I also just see you in a position in power here, all the green energy really linking into some beautiful healing, and almost the green of the ego here as well, reminding you that, you know, what is unfolding here may not fully make sense right now. July was a really pivotal point in this year, and August is the integration. There's a sense of urgency to want to get things done and to want to get moving. And that sort of initiation period is awakening you to like a whole new chapter, like a whole new way of experiencing energy. And so you need to give yourself some time to kind of almost like feel into that properly for it to start to make sense to you. So don't be too worried if it doesn't all land straight away. There's a real moment of recognition and gain that comes later in this month. Beautiful trine coming in with Mercury and Jupiter. Expansion is happening. You know, your world is opening up, Cancer. So don't be afraid. There's no room for fear or limitation here. You've done so much of the shadow work. Just let yourself be drawn. Let yourself be pulled toward the things that really activate that heart energy for you. Yeah. I hope this has given you a little bit of insight for your August season, Cancer. This is a general reading. I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards for the extended version right now. So I'd invite you to just think about a question that may not have come up in the general, and we'll pull a couple of cards for you on this. Okay. So now we are just going to clarify these main cards. Three of Cups energy, bringing in Three of Swords again. I wonder if there is a third party situation that some of you may be dealing with, you know, either professionally or, you know, within connections or relationships. It's bringing a little bit of uncertainty around you. We'll have a look at that in more detail. Queen of Wands energy. I love this for you. I think you are just in real manifesting mode right now, and the Queen of Wands is helping you to direct that creative flow toward the things that are most important, and you will stand up for that. I think some of you will really be devoting yourself to a cause as well this month, you know. Mars in Aries is wanting to initiate that. And I think that this new level of understanding and awareness wants to see you directing that energy. And that will also be helpful if you're trying to deal with any stress or nervousness or anxiety. It's almost like you need to channel that excess energy somewhere. Okay, card of Strength has been showing up in almost all the readings this month for us. A quiet dignity, I feel, that is available to you even in moments of conflicts, even in moments where people are losing their cool. You know, you are drawing on all of the emotional tools and what you've been through to really help you. Lovely, the Hierophant. That's the commitments that you're making this month. Could also be a sign of Taurus or Leo as well with Strength that we're dealing with. Ten of Cups. Knight of Coins here and the card of the Lovers. Okay. Seven of Swords here. This is the shadow work. It's where you're holding guilt, you know. It maybe guilt for wanting to move forward or for good things that are happening. Maybe it's about the self-sabotage tendencies that keep getting reignited, you know. Nine of Cups. Feeling like it's too good to be true or the rug might get pulled. But also wanting to honour that desire as it's coming up for you. A little bit of quietness going on with the Hermit and the Six of Swords there. And I think that's needed if you're doing some shadow work or just recognising where Spirit is showing you things to work on. Three of Swords and the Alchemist. This is really the ability for you to transmute so much of that energy into something positive. I think you're going to be achieving that to gain a better balance in your experience. Oh, lovely star card coming up. And the Four of Swords. Okay, Cancer, I hope you have resonated with the reading. Do revisit it through the month and see how this plays out. Drop me a comment and let me know. And if you're joining me for the extended, I really look forward to continuing this conversation. The link is in the description box or the comment section. Otherwise, I wish you beautiful blessings for this month of August. Take good care. Bye for now.